Are you going to sing the song, or what are you going to do?
What song was I going to sing?
The
There's a
Superman
song?
song, the Superman
Oh,
theme song.
oh, no, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna
Oh,
kill the people. Yeah,
okay,
that would be wrong on our part. I
all right,
shouldn't
fair.
subject him to.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
that's yeah. Now,
Well, that is yeah, yeah. What?
now, with that being said,
Hmm.
you get a little drink in me, I might try that.
And what's in your cup now?
Uh, don't worry about that.
Okay, I guess we'll find out by the end of this review what was in the
Yep.
drink.
Anyway, that's Michael. I'm Leroy. You're watching the We Trying channel on Nerdy by Nature Productions. We're here to talk about. Dun, 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 dun. Is that what you wanted?
No, I wanted the right notes and the right melody. I don't know what that was.
I told you we
That
should
was that was
subject the
like
people to
a
that.
Timu version of Superman or something. I don't know what that was, the Superman theme song, but yeah.
First of all, sir, that's disrespectful. I am the Wish version.
Okay, sure, that's fine. Yeah, Superman is out, and it seems to be a hit. It made money. It's doing well
It
critically,
seems to be a hit,
financially. Well,
sir.
I
It's
mean,
changing.
week
It's
one,
changing
we got
the
to see what it
world.
does week two. I don't know.
It's
Is it
changing
changing
the
the?
world. Oh, you hadn't heard?
No, what is
Hold
it
on.
doing to change the world?
I'm gonna read this.
Uh,
Hold on. Download. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Ah, here we go. James Gunn's Superman leads to more than 500% surge in dog adoption interest thanks to crypto.
okay, great, sure, all right,
I told you it's changing the world, baby.
all right. I'm not a pet person, so that's cool.
The fuck you are. How many
My
cats y'all
my
got?
my wife is a pet person. I'm not a pet
Then you
person.
hold on. Then you are a pet person.
We don't have any pets yet, but
Oh,
I'm
that's
sure
there's a
that'll.
key word, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, because
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
tell you, I wasn't a pet person either until Katie got that damn dog, and then that dog ended up being my dog. Rest in
hmm
peace, Bamboo.
hmm Okay. Okay. So, I mean, where you want to start with this thing? Did it change your life?
So
Is it everything you wanted? Is Superman woke now? So many things we could talk about.
So let's get the elephant out of the room. Everybody, if you're new to the channel, I'm sorry you signed up for this. That's not my fault. It's yours. But
Actually,
also,
we would like you to sign up. Hit the subscribe button so you are signed up for it.
uh, yeah, those things that Michael said. But
Yeah.
if for those of you who know, I love Henry Cavill. I do love the Man of Steel, in spite of all of its flaws, and there are a lot of them. But I love Man of Steel. I was skeptical about David Cornsweet as pulling off the Man of Steel only because I hadn't seen him in anything where I was like, can you be Clark Kent? Can you be Superman? This person who embodies all of these different ideals, dreams, hope. He was in Twisters, and I remember when we talked about him, you were like, he was in Twisters, and I was like, yeah, he was in Twisters, and
Oh, is he the partners with
huh,
Anthony
yep,
Ramos?
yep,
Oh,
and you were
okay.
like, every time I say this, you do the same thing. That was him. Yep, he was in that.
I
Um,
don't know that we've had that conversation enough for me to do it every time.
we've had it 3 times, and you've done it every time.
I don't think we've talked about Twisters that much.
We have because we talked about it once before when I actually finally watched it, and then we talked about it when the Superman trailer came out, and we did the trailer reaction, and I was like, "That's him," and you were like, "What?" And so we talked about it, and then we had another conversation um, where I had to remind you, or actually you reminded me he was in something else, and I want to say, was it Jack Ryan? Was he in Jack Ryan? Let me pull
I'm
up this
not
dude's
familiar
bio.
with this guy, so I don't know what I would have told you he was in.
But anyway, so I say all of this to say I was shocked that I was a little shocked at how good he was. Like I
Hmm.
shouldn't have been, but I was. I was shocked how good he was, how he stepped into the role, how believable he was. I will say this: I liked him as Superman. I found him more believable as Clark Kent, if that's strange to say. Like his Clark Kent, I was like, that's perfect. Like he was just embodied like the duality that he was able to pull off. And I really enjoyed this film. I went into it very skeptical based on the casting and just being so much, but this set the tone for what the DCEU is going to be. I'm all in. I'm buying in.
Before he took the role of Clark, who was the best Clark in your opinion before him? Before this guy?
It's got to be Christopher Reeve for me.
Yeah,
Christopher
I
Reeve
didn't
is.
think it was going to be that hard of a. I didn't think you had to think that long about it.
So I'm thinking about like um, the original Superman George. I'm thinking of oh boy from Wings who did the Batman animated adventures. I mean the Superman animated adventures. I'm thinking of Brandon Routh. I'm thinking of the guy from Lois and Clark, who I'm thinking of Smallville. I'm trying to think of like who did the best Clark Kent, and it's still to me to this day Christopher Reeves.
Yeah,
Even though
I
I love Man of Steel.
I think that is a general consensus that people feel like Christopher Reeves is Clark Kent is probably the best.
Yeah,
The reason why I bring that up is because I've seen some people saying, bringing up this corn sweat guy. Not that he has replaced Christopher Reeves.
I love how you said this corn sweat guy.
Yeah, but he reminds them of the Christopher Reeves Clark Kent, that all shucks that, and even when he
Yes,
does some certain mannerisms as Superman, he still has that Midwest Kentucky bred corn fed type. He's a all shucks type of thing, and
hmm
it's it's um it's nice. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it's just nice. I feel like that what this movie is overall is just generally nice. It just has
take
a
it
nice
one step
positive
further.
vibe. It just has a
Take it
nice
one step
positive
further.
vibe.
I was gonna say hope. I was
Oh
wondering
yeah,
if you were going like to be this movie was hopeful, and I was pleasantly surprised how nice it was. You're right. Nice is a very good word, but the kindness seeped out of this movie.
kindness, aka wokeness, apparently. But that's another. We can dive further into that.
You know what? You keep going because I have some. I have some.
I mean, it's kind of funny because I whatever about it, and I'm not going to be the biggest comic book person. We know that the audience knows that you are definitely more of a comic book person than me. But I've always, at
That's
least
because I
from a
can read.
layman's, sure, from a layman's perspective, Superman to me has always been a nice dude. Whether, however political you want to get, he's just a nice guy. He wants to save as many people as possible. He can't let anybody go. He wants to save everybody all the time. He's just that person. And somehow that became wokeness. I mean, no spoilers yet, but in this
But
movie, he doesn't do anything that is like so crazy. That is, he's just a nice guy.
but here and so we're almost 10 minutes in, and I'm going to jump on the soapbox. The reason why this whole wokeness thing came about was because there's a political wave of saying things like empathy, kindness, being nice, looking out for one another is terms we don't embrace as good qualities anymore, as masculine qualities. We have an entire manosphere, podcast brosphere, whatever you want to call it, that thinks if you are nice to someone, you are weak. And the people who think like that are upset because the most powerful person in DC Comics is not who they want him to be. And part of it has to do with the Snyderverse and that whole take on it. But a lot of it has to do with people fundamentally misunderstand that you can be nice and strong at the same time.
Sure.
And the idea that Superman, and here's the problem, and we talked about this, and this is not, I don't want to, this is not my saying. This is something I heard someone else say. Superman is not about a regular guy getting superpowers. Superman is the story of what happens when a nice guy gets superpowers. What does a good man do with superpowers? And the people who were upset about Superman being woke and all this other stuff, they like Homelander. That's who those people are. They're the people who would work for LexCorp. And so when anybody tells you that, or and I've heard this before, I'm not woke, well then you're an idiot. I've had friends who have said this to me, and I don't. At the time, I wasn't into having a fight and all this other stuff. When people this, if kindness is a bad thing, then you were raised wrong. If being nice to people, and this is me saying that,
Yeah.
who enjoys a good fight, who enjoys punching people in the face sometimes. Um, that's the thing that I think people misinterpret about this character. That Superman is a genuine good person with the powers of God. And
Hmm.
when you get upset with Superman, you are showing a mirror to yourself that you're saying, if I had these superpowers, I would do X, Y, and Z. And that's the problem. Superman has these powers and he doesn't do these things because
Hmm.
they're not the right thing to do. And I think that's what, and so just to give you an idea of like when people talk about, oh, Superman is woke. Really? Is this woke? What does that say? Because that's what he does.
Or is it Superman smashes the Klan is backwards for me? So I think that's what it says. Yeah.
But so now I would like to mark this time. We're 12 minutes in, and I have proven Michael can read, so he needs to do it more. Um, so yeah, but a lot of people fundamentally misunderstand the character, his origins, and who he represents. And I think when you get that out of the way, you understand who what he means, and I think this sets the tone for the DCEU going forward. And I really like where they're going. So that I'm off my soapbox now.
Um, what about the comic bookiness of it?
Loved it.
Because I think this people are always like, and I think it's people. I have so many thoughts. I'm trying to put them all together. They're coming out as I think about them. But I
Mhm.
think the early MCU success is kind of biting them in the butt now, in
Explain.
that people equated the quippiness of the MCU to be like, oh, that's what a comic book movie has to be. It has to be quippy all the time and kind of smart alecky and a little snarky a little bit because it was so popular in that first phase. And that's just kind of what MCU is now. And MCU does it better than anybody else. I think the layman will think that that's what a comic book is. To me, a comic book is just so there's a certain fantastical quality to it, and I'll almost equate it to wrestling a little bit in the fantastical quality and the fantastical nature of it.
I
That there
go,
is, let me finish.
go ahead.
There's like just a fantastical otherworldliness to it, especially for DCU, because I mean, or for DC comics, right? Like the Holy Trinity is about like at least Superman. He is a considered a god type figure, right? Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, there's a otherworldliness to it, and I think that part may not be on display, but just the idea of everybody buying in. No spoilers, but this is a world where superheroes exist. You know that from the trailer, and they've existed for a while, so people just buy into it and they're just go about their everyday lives. I think that's really great to add to the comic bookiness of it, if that makes any sense.
I I understand where you're going for. I guess let me back up a little bit. When people say comic book, I think what happens is, and I get this a lot when I at work because I deal with a lot of people who, when you say comic book, you say, "Oh, that's for kids." That's because a they don't read, and I'm not being funny. They just don't read. Comic book is a medium. In other words, it's like a movie. A comic book is just a book of pictures and words combined together. There are different types of comic books. I would say to some people, and I'm sorry, I had to jump up to grab this. A comic book can be Superman Smashes a Klan, which is a YA adult novel, graphic novel, or it could be Something is Killing the Children from James Tinian. This is not for children, and this is one of the best books I've ever read. This series. This is also one of the scariest things I've ever read. The premise of this is monsters are real and only children can see them. And there's an entire sub world. Think of John Wick in that universe that is devoted to hunting monsters, and they are good at it, but they are also amoral when it comes to monsters. In other words, if I have to kill you to keep the secret that monsters are real, I will wipe out your entire family. That's, and again, that's a comic book.
Hmm.
I think what happened was we all bought into the idea because the MCU was the biggest and best comic book franchise that all of them had to be this. When we've
Hmm.
had comic book movies in the past with Blade, with the Batman series, Mystery Men, Men in Black is based on a graphic novel. So I think what happened was we bought into this idea that all comic book movies had to be this with the MCU, and the DCEU went in a different direction when it was being helmed by Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder. And James Gunn has took it in a totally different direction and says, hey, we're going to go bigger, brighter, and these characters have been around, and we're in a we're not starting from the beginning, whereas the MCU started with the introduction of otherworldly figures,
Hmm.
introducing them to the world, and we are learning about them. In this world, they're here. We have the Justice Gang. We
Yeah,
have,
the Justice Gang is great.
we know that metahumans exist. And if you've been following James Gunn with Creature Commandos, you kind of get a sense of where he's been going, starting from. Um, I love this world that he's building.
Hmm.
And I'm interested because you have Hawk Girl being on one end of the spectrum as a character, and Superman on another one. Mr. Terrific over here. And their villains are villains. Make no mistake, this is not your father's Lex Luthor. This is a hateful man. If Lex Luthor went to the player haters ball, Ice T would walk off stage and say, that is player hater of the year.
Sure, sure.
2025's player hater of the year is Lex Luthor. Give him a hat and a pimp cup.
A hat and a pimp cup. Jeez.
Didn't think I was going there with Lex, did you?
I did not. No, I did not at all, but I love it.
So let me ask you this. So you
Hmm.
saw it. How what was your immediate reaction to seeing that movie?
It was just nice. It was a different take, and I feel like it was intentional to just be whether or not um, James Gunn likes Man of Steel. I think it definitely was intentional to go in like a completely different direction, just to be like, hey,
Mhm.
this is something different. We're doing something
Yeah,
different. No,
agreed.
I'm not giving you my takes on whether or not Man of Steel was a success or not. This I'm just doing something different to let you know, hey, we are starting over brand new here. This is, and I think that was the right take because it's so light, and I say light, but I mean there were some darker moments in the movie,
Oh,
like you
it
said.
was very
Lex
dark.
Luthor, Nicholas Holt did a really good job with his Lex Luthor, and we'll talk about it more in the spoilers. But
Bravo,
yeah,
Nicholas.
he is hateful, and
Hey,
there is some evil in the world.
oh,
Um,
I was not acquainted with your work, sir. Salute,
yeah,
because he was
um,
great in this.
yeah. Um, but I just think it sets up the stage for something interesting. Um, and we can kind of talk about this. So the MCU has gotten a reputation for having
Hmm.
post credit scenes, mid credit scenes, and generally they will set something up coming further down the line.
Hmm.
Whether it's a movie, the next movie coming up, or 4 or 5 movies coming out, James Gunn has gone on record and saying, "Hey, I will have post credit scenes, but they may not set anything up."
Yep.
I think that's interesting.
Hmm.
It's kind of like this is a standalone story. We're not gonna. His whole thing for the post credits is he wants people to be recognized in the credits, but he's not going to make you wait to see a setup for a movie, 2 movies down the line, which I kind of
Hmm.
like. It's something
Um,
different.
so, and I think we've gone a bit to 20 minutes. So let's start with this. Um, I'll get your rating in a second.
Sure.
What is your what is your how would you explain this movie to someone if you were trying to get them to see it. If you were like, let's say somebody at your job who was like, "Oh, that Superman movie's out. It's made a lot of money. Should I go see it? What's it like? Give me your elevator pitch for this movie."
Honestly, if it was somebody in the newsroom, I'd be like, hey, you know what? We cover shootings all the time and doom and gloom. Just go see something happy. Honestly, go and relax and enjoy yourself. Um, it's it's a nice little plot. It goes back to basics. There's a good guy, there's a bad guy. The good guy wins at the end. It's nice. It's
Hmm.
refreshing. That's what I would say.
Uh, give me your rating for this film. What would you, if you were rating it? What would you give it?
Uh, I'd give it I'd give it 4 out of 5 fortresses of solitude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think of what my rating would be. Uh, it's not a perfect film for me, but I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. Terrific Globes.
Okay.
I would definitely give it 4 to 5, 4.5. It's right there, edging almost a 5, but it's not there. I have a little quips, and then they're minor. But overall, this movie is about as perfect as you can get as far as a movie of the time. To me, this movie came exactly when it needed to. And if you look at the themes of the movie and you look at, and it goes back to this whole thing of woke. When you strip down the things about Superman and you just put them on a screen, the people touting that it's woke tells you all you need to know about those people. He is an he is an immigrant. He is a reporter who stands up for the little guy, regardless of how complicated it is. And he
Hmm.
makes things, and you saw that. Um, and we can get into spoilers about who certain people are and what they mean going forward, and who and some. And I'll be honest with you, if you feel that that's you in this movie, reevaluate yourselves, because because I'm gonna take it some places. Maybe Michael may not see it that way, but I saw some things, and I was like, ooh, James Gunn hit it out of the park with certain people. So let's go to spoilers.
Cool. We're purple now instead of orange for spoilers. They took away
Yeah,
orange.
I know they hate us. That's
Yeah.
one of my son's favorite colors. Um, Let me say this: as I watched this movie, I was struck by how real it felt, even though it was a comic book movie. And I say that to say James Gunn made LexCorp believable, but I don't know if he made it believable or the shitty world that we live in made LexCorp believable. Because the entire time I'm watching LexCorp, I'm thinking that's fucking ice.
Interesting.
The whole time I'm looking at LexCorp and I'm watching these raptors and I'm watching these tents and all of these apparatuses and the military industrial complex that Lex Luthor and arms dealing, I was like, oh, y'all are really bad. But it
Hmm.
also struck me as how many people would work for a bad guy. And then I thought of it and I watched the news and I was like, oh, I was naive because there are people who would work for bad people and they work for ICE.
That's interesting. I didn't look at this group, the Planet Watch, as a parallel to ICE.
I
Maybe
did.
maybe if they were arresting people or something.
But that was their next step.
See, I think if that was the case, I would have wanted to have seen that. I
And
just
so
looked
that
at it as just a military group. I looked at Lex just being malevolent, cuckoo banana man with the plan, and I looked at his sycophants within that little
mhm,
pod. Like, oh, they would do everything for Lex, but they're more like the people that were like in the like on the beach in
mhm.
beachwear and stuff. Like, oh, they're just kind of doing whatever.
See, I looked at it totally different. I looked at it and I said, oh, you people are evil. And what it reminded me of is the banality of evil, and it reminded me of what was the movie when they had the Nazis, the Nazi camp that was up for a Oscar, and they were like just
Oh,
living
it
their
was a
life.
family that was living there or
Yes,
whatever? Yeah.
that's what it reminded me of because you knew what the goal was. Like you knew like Lex, his whole goal was to take out Superman. Everything else was secondary to that.
Mhm.
Everything was built up to, and you knew that. And all of those people who signed up, the Raptors, all of those people, because remember when Superman went through the pocket dimension and he was weak, you heard the Raptors say, "Kill him while he's still weak."
Yeah.
They realized that they were fighting Superman, and they were like, "Nah, he's the bad guy." And it's like, bruh, if Superman is here and you're on the other side,
Mhm. Mhm.
you are the bad guy. And I thought that was, to me, that was really well done. Because to me, in order for your villain in order for your hero to be believable, your villain has to be a villain. And Nicholas Holt was a villain. Good Lord. The fact that he stole crypto, the fact that he broke into Superman's house, the fact that he kept lobbying military leaders and was like, yo, I'll do, I you name it, he did it.
Yeah.
I was shocked at how bad he was, but I enjoyed it because that's to me Lex Luthor.
I like the fact that at the end that he cried. Some people took that as him being a weak guy. I just
Superman
took
or
that
Lex?
Lex.
Oh, I didn't.
I didn't either. I took it as he is just so angry with everything that
Oh no,
Superman is. He just couldn't hold it in.
not angry,
I took it as he just
hateful.
hates.
That
Yeah,
yes, he is not angry. He's angry, but that's hate.
yeah, yeah. And I
That's
think Nicholas Holt, the actor, did a good job with that monologue or soliloquy, whatever it is, of just
mhm,
talking about how much he hates Superman and everything he stands for. And he even
mhm,
said, "I am jealous of you because of blah blah blah." That was good.
mhm.
It was really
Like
good.
I appreciated Nicholas Holt. I enjoyed this film. I I almost wanted it to be longer, but I knew that they packed so much in this. I really
Is
enjoyed.
it? Do we know what the runtime of it
Huh?
was?
I can
What's
tell
the
you.
runtime of it?
I can tell you right now. The runtime is um
2 hours
should
and 9 minutes.
yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I could have it could have been longer to me. What I loved was that they made a believable world. Michael Ian Black as Tucker Carlson was great.
Yeah,
Like
he was
like
hilarious.
like that's Tucker Carlson. Having Peacemaker show up was hilarious.
Hmm.
Peacemaker showing up in this was hilarious. I thought Metamorpho as Gary, I thought that was great. Alan Tudyk once again killing the game. Guy
Uh,
Gardner,
so question:
yes,
Ultraman, is that going to be Bizarro or too early to tell?
that's the question. That's the question.
Okay.
Everybody was like, "No, it's not Bizarro," but it's like I don't know. There seems like they set him up for that.
Okay.
I immediately when I saw when they revealed Ultraman as a clone, and then he went through the black hole, I was like, "Yeah, y'all setting up Bizarro," which I liked, which I
Hmm.
thought was if that's what he's doing, I'm all for it. I think that's cool.
In the comics, is Ultraman always a clone of Clark or no?
No,
Just okay.
no, Ultraman is. Ooh, Ultraman is that's a whole nother story.
Okay.
Ultraman. So, um, so there's a basically. Damn, you shouldn't have asked me this. So in DC Comics, there's DC does the multiverse better than anybody else. Um, there's an alternate universe where the Justice League are evil, and there's an evil Superman who is Ultraman, and Batman is Owlman, and they are. When I tell you the evil of evil, that's who Ultraman is. So they did not do that in this movie. Uh, They actually do an animated version of the Justice League versus the Justice Lords. I believe that's what they're called. But Ultraman is Homelander.
Okay.
Sorry, I spaced out just now. Ultraman is Homelander.
Okay.
So imagine if Homelander took over the world. That is Ultraman in the comics. So yeah. So what did you think of the supporting cast? Because I was in love with the Justice Gang. I thought they were hilarious. I thought they were dicks.
Yeah, they were. It's interesting because, and I don't know, is there a Justice Gang in the DC world, or is that going to be eventually become the Justice League, or what is,
They're
or
eventually going to become the Justice League.
so is the Justice
That's
Gang that they just made that up for this movie?
it seems to be. And
Okay.
now, hold on, I can look that up, but I believe that's so.
Okay. Yeah, I like that because in my mind, I always feel like the Justice League, and to be fair, they weren't in front of cameras, but I always feel like the Justice League is, oh, they're this wonderful group, and you
Mhm,
want your kids to be modeled after them. But they were all kind of assholes a little bit, which I liked. That they weren't like super prim and
mhm.
proper. They all kind of had little sparks of attitudes. Hawk Girl, maybe not as much as Mr. Terrific or especially Guy Gardner, which was awesome. I love Nathan Fillion. Shout out to
He
the
did a great
rookie.
job. He did a great job.
Uh,
Man,
but yeah,
fuck
he
him.
was he was great. He was awesome.
Tired of hearing
Um,
about that goddamn show.
it's great, man. Um, I'm
It's
happy
great.
that
I know it's great, and it's just not for me. But it's
sure.
so funny because for some reason the little clips keep showing up in my timelines,
Oh, that's fantastic.
and so like I keep getting these like weird, out of context rookie clips, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, oh god damn it, it's the rookie again. So I
It's the
keep getting
rookie.
sucked
Yeah.
into.
Um, but yeah, they were great. I would have liked to have seen, and I can't remember his name, but the guy who played Perry, the guy that is
Wendell Pierce.
yes, Wendell Pierce. Okay, that is that his name?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
man, I
I
was like,
like him.
you mean Greer from Jack Ryan, aka Bunk from The Wire? What's his name in Trim? Shit,
Um,
yeah, I. But
Trim or
yeah,
Treme?
is it Treme? I forget how you
I
pronounce
think
it.
it's Treme.
Treme. He was in Treme. But yeah,
Yes.
that's Wendell Pierce, man. That's Wendell Pierce is
Um,
the shit. I love him.
yeah, I
Oh,
like him. I hope we get to see more of him in Superman too, because I get it. It's not
yeah.
his movie, but just I kind of want to see him do a little bit more
Oh
talking
yeah.
to Clark in the newsroom or whatever.
Oh, I
He
loved
was
him.
great. Is it Skylar Gizondo? Is that his name? He has an interesting name. The guy who played
Jimmy
Jimmy
Olsen.
Olsen. Yeah, he
Hey,
I guess his side thing is that ladies just love him.
so
That's a new take on Jimmy. That's interesting.
so Jimmy has this magnetic personality for hijinks in the comics, and to the point where Jimmy gets his own comic series where stuff just happens, and it's his proximity to Superman. But for some reason, Jimmy just draws hijinks to him,
Hmm.
and I really enjoyed that part of it, where he's like, I am not equipped to deal with this,
Hmm.
to the point where he has a source who's dating Lex, and
Hmm.
he doesn't know how to use his source to get the information, to the point where she's giving you, and like he just couldn't bring himself to just tell her what she wants to hear. Like he was just like, when she's like, that means we can hang out all the time. I'm like, yeah, just tell this chick yes, get what you need, and just have her hit send. And he's
Well,
like,
see, you're not a good person, Leroy. He doesn't want to be deceitful to the woman.
I've already expressed that I am not a good person.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
why
There we
this is
go.
a shock to you every single day.
So you're
I
saying you
am.
should not be Superman.
I almost said something just now that I'm trying to stop using that word.
All right.
But my favorite character is Batman. So do you think I would be Superman?
Okay.
I and I. My favorite two characters are Batman and Magneto. Really? I love Superman. I think he's one of the greatest characters ever created. But I know who I am.
Hmm.
There's no illusions here.
Okay. Um, Yeah, he was great. And I can't remember the actress, the one that was Lex's girlfriend. I liked that she had a plan with all these selfies that she was taking all the time.
Ah, yes.
It was great because I'm like, man, she is kind of ditzy. But like, no, it was all a point. She had a master plan, and
Eve.
it reminds me of Eve. Okay, yeah, it
Yeah.
reminds me of the conversation that some people are very dismissive of people that have OnlyFans or people that take photos of themselves, um, not realizing that people are able to make a business out of this and be very lucrative and productive, and
Who
not
you talking?
just they look down on these people because they're making money off of their bodies. But I mean, if you got it, flaunt it,
Use what you
and
got.
use what you got, and have that plan behind you. So I really like that while she was taking these photos, she was also grabbing, because as smart as Lex is, he didn't know anything. He didn't
He
notice.
did.
He was just like just taking photos.
Hmm.
Um, I will say, because she was smart enough to take these selfies, I don't feel like, and I get it for the story, she had to get caught. I feel like she would have been smarter than to just go into the closet next door and talk on the phone.
Here's the thing, and here's where I question: was she taking photos knowing she was taking photos of certain things, or was she taking photos of herself and was like, so that's the question. I can understand both. I can understand both takes. I can understand if you believe that she was taking selfies with stuff in the background to implicate Lex to ruin him, and I could also see someone's take and saying no, she was just a ditzy blonde who was taking selfies, who Lex wasn't paying attention, who just happened to catch all of the evidence behind her. I
But
can see
then
both.
why would she know to send that to Jimmy?
That that's where I can see where
See,
the other
that's
side
why
falls.
I'm like, I
That's what I'm
don't
saying.
know.
I can see where the other side falls apart, but I can see argument. I can see arguments for both.
Sure.
I am on the side of that bitch knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
like like she knew what she was doing. I'm on that side, but I can see the argument for the other side to say, "Oh, she's just so ditzy to believe that these pictures you could get something out of it. That it wasn't like an entire elaborate scheme." But I really enjoyed the film. I my only quibble, and that's because I understood where Superman was coming from, and I understood what she was trying to do. I was very mad with Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. I wasn't it wasn't that I wasn't buying her as Lois Lane. I wasn't at first, but I really turned on her when she went after Clark when they were dating and that little scene because I was
I thought
like,
that was great. I
it.
loved it. I was like, she's a
Here's
reporter. She
here's
did
the
her
thing.
job.
Here's the thing. I agree with you. I didn't like it, and that's the point of the scene. Does that make sense? So like
Sure.
you and I both understand journalism, and you and I both understand what she was doing was the right thing.
Hmm.
As a fan and as a supporter of Superman can do no wrong, I was like, bitch, who the fuck are you to question my man? Like, I really wanted somebody to step in and be like, check yourself,
Hmm.
watch your tone. This is Clark Kent,
That, that's
aka
this is
Super.
Superman. You put
and
some
I
respect on his name.
right, and that's where I was like, yo, oh shit, the movie got me. That was that moment that I was like, bravo, James Gunn, because I'm always a Lois Lane fan.
Hmm.
This was one of the few times that I was like, oh, this is why I love you. As in the comics, this is why I love Lois. And this was one of the few times where I was like, oh, you did what you were supposed to do. You went for his throat. You asked him the tough questions because remember when she asked him, so you unilaterally went into this country without
Hmm.
any thought of the repercussions. And Superman's like, I don't care about all of that stuff. People were going to die. And
Yeah.
I felt that. And
Yeah.
she's like, you can't just do that. You have to understand who you are and and that's where I love about their relationship, where that's where she does that thinking, and he's like, I just act.
See, that's interesting that you took it as you were against her, at least in that scene, because I was on her side. I was against Superman in that scene.
And here's the thing. This was one of those times, and I think it was because James Gunn did a very good job with the writers setting up this conflict
Hmm.
that we all could, like, let's be honest. James Gunn looked at the Russian-Ukrainian war and was like, and wrote that into a Superman movie.
Yeah,
And
I
like,
wonder. What are we in the? Is this the
fourth,
third,
this is fourth year.
fourth
Hold
year
on,
of the war?
let me look it up. Go
Because I
ahead.
wonder when he started writing the movie, when Russia started to do the initial invasion to Ukraine. If I cared a little bit more, I would look at the research behind that. But that is interesting.
Um, so the large-scale invasion started on February 24th, 2022. We knew the escalation was beginning before that,
Okay.
and there were other things going on. So now let's do this. When did Superman 2025 start filming? Filming started in 2024.
Hmm.
Um, so let's see when writing started. Um, let's see. So in 2022 was when October 2022 was Black Adam, and they had the scene with Henry Cavill and The Rock. And then remember the following year, 2023, was when the Peter Safran, James Gunn uh, announcement happened. So the war was already a year into by the time this happened.
Okay.
So I felt like that to me, that was the war that when I saw that conflict, I was like, oh, that's what that is. I've seen online where people have likened it to the Israel Gaza conflict, where there are other people who have likened it to other conflicts, but to me, the Russian Ukrainian war was the one that stood out to me. Um, and the gentleman who was the dictator slash whatever his name was, um, he plays a he's played a Russian before. I'm trying to remember what his name. What was his name in the movie? Vasily
Uh.
Gurkos.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Hold on. Yes, he plays Vasily Gurkos.
Oh,
He is
the president guy. Yeah.
yes. His name is Zalto Burke. Uh, he was amazing. I don't know if you've seen him in other stuff. I remember him as Yuri in 2022. He also played. Was he in the Hitman movies? I swear, I think he was in the Hitman movie. I could be wrong. Anyway, um, I was like, that's just a watered down version of Vladimir Putin. Uh, but the reason why I go back to Lois Lane was I bought David Cornsweet as Clark Kent's, aka Superman, and I
Hmm.
believed Lois Lane as a reporter right then because of the tenacity she had. And this is why I always say I try every day to be a journalist. I try every day to be a journalist, but there are times I fall short. And in that scene was where I was like, oh, I got to be better as a journalist. Can't
Yeah.
turn it on. Like I was like, because I was on Superman, and that's why I said I caught myself, but I cannot lie to you when he was like, people were going to die, and I was like, yeah, bitch. I was literally I was I was literally Flavor Flav to Superman's Chuck D.
Okay.
I was in the theater like with my nachos and icy, like, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there was anything I didn't like about the movie.
No, I enjoyed the movie. I will say this: it was darker than I thought it was going to be. Like I
How so?
Lex point blank shot a dude with a fucking revolver, playing Russian roulette. Like,
He did.
son, hold on. Not only
He
that,
did.
this motherfucker had a pocket dimension with goddamn interdimensional gulag. Like,
Yeah.
what?
And he's been doing it for a while to have that many people.
Not only that, he ripped a hole in the world and was like, yo, fuck Metropolis, and went
Yeah.
across the river and was like, let me know when it hits a city I care about.
Yeah.
Son,
He's in his
that's
spaceship chilling, or this craft chilling. Yeah.
like when I tell you how dark, like I understand Man of Steel can be dark. I was like, I'm sorry. Ain't nobody pulled out a revolver and aimed it at some random dude's head and was like, tell me what I want to know. And then was like, that happened quicker than I thought it was. You know
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna do it again. Like
Mhm.
that. I don't know. For me, that was the darkest Lex we
Hmm.
have seen in a while. Because to me, there was nothing he wasn't willing to do.
What's the
And
name of his? Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's the name of his female bodyguard, martial art lady?
Mercy.
Mercy. Is that a comic book thing, or is that from the cartoon?
That's from the cartoon, but it's also in the comic. She's also in the comic book.
Okay. I wonder if they're going to introduce that person.
Oh, I can't wait for them because I have thoughts on who should be Mercy. Um, but
That might be a topic for another time. Who are the ancillary characters you want to see pop up in the DCU, and who should
um,
play them?
so I will say this: I enjoyed everybody from Beck Bennett as Steve Lombard to Wendell
Yeah.
Pierce as Perry White. I would like to give a shout out to um, I'm trying to pronounce his name correctly, but I want to give a shout out to um, where is it? The guy who plays Mr. Terrific,
Oh, yeah.
Edie
Yeah. It's
Edie Gath Gathechi.
it's a name.
Yeah, Isabel Merced and
Dora herself.
see. It's funny that you say Dora. I always I always see her, and I see her now as old girl from The Last of Us. Like I can't see her outside of that. I've just been like, oh, that's perfect. I know she's done other stuff, but I really she was great at that.
Yeah.
Those two really I loved and would love to see more. Um, Mr. Terrific made that movie for me, and I I hate the Fox X Men, but I also hate how they did him.
Oh yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Um, and there's reporting where Fox was like, "We're going to bring you back," and as a your character actually didn't die because he can't die, and then it didn't happen, and it's like, you know what? It's better that it didn't because
Yeah.
those Fox movies were terrible, and I'm on record of saying as bad as they are, I can't deal with them. Um, I just would have as we're getting to the end. I love this movie. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a movie that was necessary right now. I think look at we're right now dealing with billionaires and wealth inequality, and I think James Gunn took all of that and encapsulated it in a billionaire who is using his wealth, his money, his influence in a way that you could have done anything with it. And
Hmm.
you decided to use that against the one good thing in this world.
Yeah.
And that tells you all you need to know about these people. Um, I think there was a statement, and I think the pushback you're hearing from people who are like Superman is woke, yada yada yada. Those are the people who you should be wary of. I think there's a clear message of this movie, and if you don't understand it, uh, you're not the person I want in a foxhole. Uh,
Sure.
but I enjoyed it to the point where I bought. Um, that's for. I asked Evan, which one would you want? Because we've been watching Batman Brave and the Bold and watching Superman Animated Adventures, and he's
Mhm.
like, which I asked him which one do you want. He said both. He really likes Superman. And I say that to say Evan is a very sweet kid. He reminds me of me before I went out
Before
into
the
the world.
world.
Yeah, before the world.
Yeah.
Owen reminds me of what happened when I got into the world. That's Fight Club. That's that is the other son. That's the other. I say that to say, and I posted this on our threads page.
Mhm.
I am so scared for Evan because he is so nice. He is so sweet. That part where remember when Lois Lane went to the Justice Gang, it was like, of course he told you his secret identity. That's Evan.
Mhm.
Watching this movie did not make me worry for Evan anymore.
Hmm.
When Superman was like, kindness is punk.
Yeah.
I I I have always been a fan of Superman. This made Superman believable to me. And I really think we need more of these type films. I really like the direction James Gunn went in, and I can't wait to see more of it. I'd like to give a shout out to the Cincinnati Museum. So I don't know if you knew that the Justice League Justice King headquarters,
Oh yeah, they were filming all over Ohio.
but that's a real place.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
That's
when
where.
they were filming, WKYC had so many stories about it because they were like filming in and around near the station.
Oh,
So
really? So the Cincinnati Museum is actually the basis for the Justice League headquarters, and from Super Friends, and that is when I this is how much a nerd I am. When we got married, the next day after we got married, I got us all tickets to that museum so we could go. Um, I've been so all that whole area where they were in the beginning. I've been in that area. I had pictures of me and Katie in there outside taking pictures. So shout out to Ohio for getting into the Superman movie. Um, I also want to bring up um, Millie Alcock. Is it Alcock or
I don't know how you pronounce them. I just know she's Australian.
but she was great
Yeah.
as I loved her.
Later, bitch. That was great. I was like, oh, this girl's a little different. I like it.
So they alluded to her movie when they talked about her drinking on planets that have a red sun.
Hmm.
So that shit. So her movie is going to. I just go read the 12-issue miniseries from Tom King, and I wish I had those issues right now. They're somewhere in a box. Um, they alluded to basically how her series is going to take place on multiple worlds and under a red sun, because you can't get drunk unless you're under a yellow sun. So she goes to places to party in different universes or different galaxies because she's trying to get away from this stigma of being Supergirl. She can be herself
Hmm.
because there's a lot of pressure. I loved Crypto. I don't know if James Gunn realized that he just made a meme when Superman busted into Lex's office, was like, "Where's the dog?" That was hilarious. I felt that. I was like, "Yeah, man, if you had stole my dog, I'd probably try to kill you too." I mean, that's literally the basis of John Wick. You
Yeah.
killed his dog. So we've been going for about an hour. What's your parting thoughts, sir?
Go see the movie. It's good. It puts hopes into the world. We need more of that.
We talked about Superman being woke, so I want to recommend Superman Smashes a Klan by Gene Young and Gene Luen Yang, and art by I don't even want to pronounce it. The new Superman series you
Was
should
that
go check
Gerard
out.
Way or whatever?
No,
Oh,
no. This is Gurihiru.
oh, nah.
See, all right. For comics, check out Superman Unlimited from Dan Slott and Raphael Albuquerque. Um, I recommend. Here's the first two issues. They're not sold out. You can get them. They're for Mr. Terrific. I recommend two books. One, he has a new series that just came out. Here's issue one. Um, from Al Letson and Valentino D. La, Landro and Marissa Louise. Um, this is a great jumping on point. Uh, if you want to see Mr. Terrific the way he was in the movie, go. Oh, damn kids. Um, pick up Strange Adventures. Mr. Terrific is in this. I don't want to spoil it, but basically, Batman is like, I can't help you, and was like, call this brother over here. So I say that to say this is a great story. You will enjoy it. Tom King is also the guy who I just mentioned did the Supergirl comic that's going to be turned into a movie. But in this, Superman All Star, this is kind of the Superman. If you enjoyed the movie, pick this book up. This is the Superman you'll get from the movie in the comics. This is the best, one of the best Superman comics I can recommend. If you enjoyed the movie, go pick those books up. So yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. I think that's it. Yeah, I really love the movie. There's more that we could talk about, and as the year goes on, we'll probably end up comparing Superman and Fantastic Four because I believe both of them seem to be more hopeful films, and I think we need more of that. Like Michael said.
Cool.
All right.
That'll do it for us, folks. When
Like,
those
comment,
bells
and
go out,
subscribe.
yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. You run through the rigmarole.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit us up on Facebook. Michael's still on Twitter. Hit us up on Threads. Uh, I will always respond. I do know that I get bad about some of those things, but I'll always respond. I always love a good conversation. Let us know what you think. What's your favorite part of the movie? Also, who's your favorite Superman? Oh, excuse me. Because Christopher Reeve is up there, but my personal favorite is George, old boy from Wings, Superman Animated Adventures.
Tim Daly?
Yeah, Tim Daly. And then remember, it was Tim Daly, and then it switched to George, old boy from Friends. Uh, for those of you who watch Friends, do you remember the brother sister episode where Rachel met a guy and then he had a very unnatural relationship with his sister? That guy ended up voicing Superman after Tim Daly left. So yeah, it's a toss up between him and Henry Cavill. So yeah, for me,
Cool.
George Newbern. Yes. Oh, so glad I remembered that. Yeah, go look it up. Remember when we did News 19 Nerds and all of the people from Justice League was there, and the one person who wasn't there, it was George Newbern. He was the one guy who didn't show up. He had a conflict because remember we got to meet everybody who voiced all the characters for Justice League. That was the one guy who didn't show up.
Okay, cool.
Well,
Fantastic.
all right, we're out, people. Deuces.
Later.